A gun is a great self-defense tool, but have you considered your strength and fitness as a self-defense tool?
All right. Did you know we have a world-class training school here in San Diego? Well, pilots can fly almost every day. We're close to the ocean, the desert, and we have mountains, and we're right near an international border and a major military base. That's why San Diego is one of the best places to learn how to fly in the world. Learn to fly in the heart of San Diego, right at Montgomery Field. Getting started is easy. Give them a call at 858-569-1822 or learn to fly with SDFTI. Give them a call, 858-569-1822.
All right, our next guest is my buddy Leo Hamill. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Founding board member of San Diego County Gun Owners. Of course, most people know you from the commercials, from your jewelry store, right?
Correct.
Do you get recognized all the time?
Pretty much.
Really? People come up to you and say, "Hey,"
at least once a day.
Isn't that it's crazy, right? So most people know you from the jewelry store, but I want to just give me a minute here to set some context.
Right.
What was about 3 years ago, we went to lunch, and I recently lost some weight. I got a long way to go, but a big part of what I was doing, the program I was doing, happened from this lunch that you and I had. You opened up LeoFit, and you were telling me it's this new high-tech gym, and you're kind of explaining it to me, and I didn't really get it. I didn't understand it. And you said, you know what, just come and give it a try. It's the best way to explain what's going on is to come give it a try. And back when I was early 20s, like teens, high school, early 20s, I was pretty much a gym rat. I spent a lot of time in the gym, loved it, lifted a lot of weights. So I went in and tried it, and it's these two high-tech machines, and it's all computerized. And you said, you just got to 25, maybe 30 minutes, and that's a full workout. So I thought, all right, let's try this. And I walked out of there after 30 minutes, and it felt like the way it felt after an hour and a half, maybe 2-hour workout from when I was a kid.
Right.
Extremely effective. And boom, I was hooked. I said, okay, what do I got to do here? How do I do this? And a couple times a week, I'd come in for a half hour, and it was really, really great. So tell people about LeoFit.
Well, the core of what we do are these two machines you're talking about. Mm-hmm. They're called ARX Fit, and you can look them up at arxfit.com, and they'll give you info. But the reason why the machines are so effective is because they're computer controlled. The machine essentially knows how strong you are right now. So it doesn't matter if you're 90 or 19 or 9. It can sense how strong you are. And the whole idea is to put forth your maximum effort for how strong you are right now. And what that allows you to do is achieve the greatest amount of adaptation in your body that's able to be achieved in one set of exercise. Now, people normally go and do 3 sets of 10, curls, chest press, and all that. The only part of those 3 sets that does any good, really, is the last second or two of the last set when you can't finish that rep. That's where the benefit comes from. So the previous 29 reps were kind of a waste of time. You could just pick up a heavy weight, go to the point where your muscles can't curl anymore and stay there for 30 or 60 seconds. That would be better than what people are doing when they do 3 sets of 10. Our machines, though, the machines sense your strength as it is right now by the millisecond. It graphs it on a chart while you're pushing, and it gives you just a little bit more than you can put out second by second. And what that allows you to do is to do 1 set per body part, 1 curl, 1 bench press, 1 leg press, 1 tricep press. But you do 6 to 8 reps, and you are completely exhausted by that last rep. The machine sees to it that you are if you're putting out your effort. You can actually do a full body workout in 20 minutes, even 15. 30's in my gym, 30's kind of on the long side.
Well, I'm not. 30 means I get to have a nice big long break in between.
Right. There's a lot of chatting going on when it goes to 30.
Yeah. But it's a full body workout.
Full body.
It's all the exercises are everyone's going to recognize. You ever been to a gym? Even if you have never been to a gym, if you've never worked out before, this thing's foolproof, and you have people with you the entire time.
Right. We have a coach that's with you, so you have your coach that's making sure that you're doing the exercises right. But it's pretty hard on these machines to do them wrong because the moment you get to where you can't do it, the pressure stops. If you stop pushing, the weight stops. It's in a fraction of a second, so you really can't get hurt. And you have the screen coaching you. After you've done your first workout, there's a wave showing how much you were outputting, and the wave gets smaller and lower as you go along because your muscles are fatiguing. On your next workout, you see the last workout, and you're competing against yourself on a computer screen, and you have your coach pushing you to get that all-out workout.
And that piece you just said, I don't think it's talked about enough. One of the major issues, one of the reasons I gained so much weight is I have a major, major back problem. I had a disc removed when I was a kid, and it is, I can't emphasize just how bad it is, basically. I mean, it's really, really been, it's really been difficult. It's very, very difficult to deal with. And part of that is, I'd get into the gym, I'd get into a rhythm, I'd get into a groove, I'd get on a schedule, and then 2-3 weeks into it, boom, it would, I'd re-injure my back basically, and then I'm done for 2 months. I'm on my back, I'm sleeping, not sleeping necessarily, but laying in bed. You can't, you're immobile. You injure yourself, especially your back. You're immobile, and then boom, it's like, all right, well, now you either starving yourself, or you're going to gain weight because you just can't. When you're immobile, you just can't move enough to burn calories. What I've noticed at LeoFit is I don't get injured because you can't push. It only pushes back on you as hard as you push on it.
Right.
So if you start to get injured, or if your muscles start to get weak, or something starts to give, then the tension also gives.
Right. The moment you stop pushing, it stops pushing. The moment you stop pulling, it stops pulling.
So if you throw 225 pounds on a bar and you're going to bench press that, you're always pushing 225 pounds. So if your muscles start to give out, you get an injury, something happens, you're still dealing with 225 pounds.
And that's why people get hurt.
And that's how people get hurt. That's how I would get hurt. I've never been injured on your machines.
We've been open 3 years and have had thousands of sessions, and no one has been hurt.
Yeah.
And that includes people that come in with injuries. We have a 95-year-old guy that works out. I mean, he was completely frail when he showed up. And I like to use that word frail because most Americans past the age of 60 these days are frail. They've lost muscle mass. They're weak. They're a little bit overweight. And that's how they get hurt, is because they try to do exercise like they were 20, and they're lifting 100 pounds, say, in a bench press. And they're pushing against that 100 the whole time. When they start to weaken towards the end, that's when they get hurt. On our machine, if you can push 100 on the first rep, you'll get 100. On the second rep, you'll get probably 98 or 95. By the third rep, you're down to 80. But you can't push any more than that if you're fatiguing your muscles in the proper manner, which is as hard as you can for the strength that you are right now. Again, by the second.
And when I started in the gym back in the 80s, late 80s, what you said is true. You do 3 sets of 10.
Right.
That was
it.
That was the instructions. Do 3 sets of 10. Okay, well, how much? Just do 3 sets of 10. And over the last few decades, they've really figured out 2 concepts. I mean, maybe there's more, but the 2 concepts I recognize that your machines really work on have to do with working out till failure and then time under tension.
Right.
And those 2 things are enormously effective because, like you said, if you do 10 reps, you're not really, the first 9 is really just warming up for that 10th, and that's where you actually are building muscle.
Right.
That's where you're actually doing what you need to do. But the going till failure, meaning going until your muscle is absolutely completely fatigued, that's what helps build muscle. And that has to do with how much time you're actually time under tension, how much time you're actually pushing. And with LeoFit, you're basically maxing out the entire time.
You're maxing out from the very moment you start, but again, you're maxing out for how strong you are right now. So It doesn't matter how weak you are, you're still going to be maxing out in a safe manner at that level. And you mentioned time under tension. That's actually an old concept now. What actually matters is going to temporary muscle failure. That 2 seconds where you can't finish and the weight feels like 1,000 pounds because you can't finish it, that's the part that counts. That's when your muscle fibers are adapting. And the only reason we exercise is because we want an adaptation. We either want our muscles to get stronger, we want them to get bigger, or we want our metabolism to speed up. And the third thing is we want our body to lose weight. Fourth thing, those are why we exercise. It's one of those 4 things are a combination, and they're all considered adaptations by the body. Your body doesn't adapt for going for a half-hour walk every day for 5 years.
Right.
The first 3 times you did the half-hour walk, you got pretty much all the benefit you were going to get. The next 4 years and 333 days, you were just walking, and your body learns to lower your the calories necessary to do that walk. So the rest of the walks are basically a waste of time. And my best example is that there's 2 ladies that walk in my neighborhood. They're definitely not listening to this show. But they've been walking for 5 years, and I've watched them for 5 years. They walk for an hour a day for 5 years, freezing cold, hot of summer. After 5 years of walking, they look exactly the same as the day they started because they got the benefit from the first 3 or 4 walks, and after that, it was just walking. Their body lowers their calorie consumption to match that walk because it already adapted to it on the first 3 or 4 walks. But on our machines, you're pushing to the level that you're getting a body adaptation and actually up-regulating of your metabolism, your strength, your muscle size, every second of every exercise. And that's why you can do a full body workout in 15 or 20 minutes.
And that's only been the last few decades, too, where people have thought of building muscle in order to burn calories and lose weight.
Right.
The thinking has always been, if you want to lose weight, you got to go jog 5 miles or whatever, right? And that's, and really, if you go jog a mile, you go burn 100 calories in that, whatever, maybe 90, maybe 105, but somewhere around 100 calories.
Right.
But then that's it. You don't, that's it. You stop jogging, you stop burning,
Well, the sad thing about that is that when you jog for a mile and you burn 100 calories, I think we're going to a break.
Yep. You got
You
time.
burn the 100 calories. Your body the next day will demand that you eat those calories back. That's why you start craving food.
PRMI Mortgage, primeres.com/Alpine. If you're looking to buy or refi, or if you're considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all of their mortgage needs. They make it easy. Work with a friendly expert team that will help you get the best deal on mortgages. Call Chris Wiley, 619-722-1303, or just go to primeres.com/Alpine. All right, we're back with Leo Hamill. He's got a company called Leo Fit. So I do have a question. You have 2 machines.
Correct.
What if you get 30 people in?
We don't. We never have more than 3 people training at a
So
time.
basically, you schedule people in. They just don't walk in and jump on the machine.
No.
Well, how come Michael gets to do it?
Enormously efficient because I set an appointment. They say, all right,
you told me you
Tuesday.
just walk in, the place shuts down, and you go jump on the machine.
I'm so important.
I know.
I'm a legend in my own mind.
Where were these machines developed and designed?
I couldn't tell you that.
Oh, okay.
But the development of them was based on science. It's a brilliant idea, and they work. There's only 2 machines on the market, this brand and another brand. The other one's a home brand,
Right.
which doesn't have a screen, so you can't really
you need
watch.
to see.
You need to see what your efforts you're putting out, and the benefit of comparing to the last session inspires you to be a little bit stronger. Which brings up an interesting point, and this is a fact. When people start doing this exercise, they get stronger every workout, every time. They come in 20 minutes twice a week, and they can see on the computer that
So
they're
twice a week is what you recommend?
Twice a week for 20 minutes is all you need to do.
Wow.
And you will get stronger for at least 3 months. And some people get stronger for 3 years, virtually every workout.
So the 90-year-old guy, how long has he been coming in?
About a year and a half. And when he first came, he drove a scooter down the hill because he lived in the neighborhood. He couldn't get off his scooter onto the machine on his own. We had to help him. That's how frail he was. Within 4 or 5 months, he was getting off the scooter himself and getting on the machines. I mean, he had gained that much strength back in just a couple of months.
So is he 86 the scooter yet, or is he just like riding the scooter?
No, he actually hurt himself on his scooter, so we haven't seen him for a few months, but he'll be back. He's hurt himself a couple of times. But
Yeah.
It really is. I'm in and out of gyms for like 25
Well,
or
you were
whatever,
very
30
impressed
years.
back in the day when you first started doing it.
Yeah. And I've never seen muscle build so quickly. I've never seen muscle build so quickly, especially with with how much time I wasn't spending there. Just a couple of times a week. It wasn't making any sense to me, like how efficient it was. Okay, so we're talking about fitness. We're talking about Leo Fit. We're using all kinds of terms like
What's that
time and
got to
attention.
do with guns?
What does it got to do with guns?
Right.
And Leo, you've been shooting like the earth cooled, and you started
Right.
shooting. So you know your way around guns better than just about anybody. So or just as much as
good
anybody.
as anybody,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what does this have to do with guns?
Well, one of the things I noticed when I started taking training classes and instructors is that, actually I started when I was in the National Guard and I was a pistol shooter. And it drove me crazy that the front sight was waving all over the target. Now, they would tell you that it's okay, just squeeze the trigger. But the stronger you get, the easier it is to keep that waving into a smaller circle over the target. Same with the rifle. Same with the crosshairs of a scope. The stronger you are, especially in the positions where we hold a gun, which is unnatural. It's not normal to hold something out in front of you with one or two hands. But building up shoulder strength, bicep strength, and even trigger finger strength will make you a more accurate shooter because you're controlling the mechanics, the weight of the machine, which is the gun, better. So the whole idea of us being on the show today was the stronger you are, you should be able to shoot better, assuming you're doing all the techniques properly.
So these machines do the full body,
Yes.
as you mentioned fingers.
Yes, because when you do a row, for example, you're pulling towards you, your fingers are exhausted
Truly.
after 90 seconds. You can barely hold on to the handle.
The grip, it's insane. Like having to hold on to all that. The other thing that when you're guiding weight down, you can guide more weight down than you can push. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You can only push a certain amount up, right? But when you're guiding weight down, you can guide a whole lot of weight down. So this machine compensates, and it pushes as much as you can handle, which is a whole lot on the way down, maybe not as much on the way up. But that grip it takes, especially when you're rowing or when you're doing any kind of pull, really, the amount of your forearms, your grip,
They tingle.
They tingle. They tingle, Dave. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yes.
I had a sneaky feeling.
But again, it's all this. It's the normal exercise. Bench and row and legs and calf and then pull downs and lat pulls and it's all the.
I like the 20-minute aspect of it.
And that part is really, really cool. If you the thought of going to the gym, hour and a half minimum. But here you can get it done in 20. I'm going to say set aside about a half hour, 20 to 25 or 25 to 30 minutes.
As much as I talk, I'll be there all day.
And you're in and out. If your appointment's at 10 a.m., you're out by 10:30.
You out at 10:30.
Yeah, boom, 10 a.m. Welcome, sit down, start working. Boom, 10:30, you're out.
Well, let's talk about the most important. What's it cost?
It's about $50 a session.
That's it.
Yep. So
You're never going to make any money paying off that machine.
We really should be charging more, but that's what we're charging. So if you look at 2 sessions a week, $100, if you can invest $5,000 in a year into your body, it will be completely different at the end of that year. You'll be significantly stronger. I would guess somewhere between 20 and 50%, and that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah. So we talked off air about diet. Right. Because, everybody will tell you, all the diet stuff on TV, then in little teeny print that you can't read, states you need to exercise.
Right.
So how do you attribute a diet to, say, Michael versus Joe? Or is the diet pretty much the same?
The interesting thing about diets, and believe me, in the last 3 years, I've studied a lot of studies, studied a lot of reports, a lot of articles. So a diet doesn't really matter. As long as you're consuming slightly less of the calories per day than you're exerting, you will lose weight. The problem with most diets, like I was talking about with walking every day, when you go on a diet and you consume, say you're supposed to eat 2,500 calories a day to maintain your weight, you eat 1,500 calories because you want to get into a wedding dress. This is very typical for a lady to say, I've got a wedding dress to get into in a month, and she wants to lose 10 pounds in a month. She will lose 10 pounds in a month eating 1,000 calories a day. She will lose on a scale. She'll get in her dress, and then within the next 2 months, all 10 pounds will come back, plus one to two more every time. That's why they've never had a reunion show for The Greatest Loser, because every contestant, this is a fact, every contestant gained all their weight back plus more.
How many times have you seen people that do that? They'll bust their butt. And I used to say, well, the reason it's all coming back is that's how the good Lord made you. I mean, if you're that size, you're that size. And if you do exercise, you do diet, you get down to that, let's get into our wedding dress size. And then when you're all done with the wedding and you don't exercise and you don't diet, then you're going to blossom back to what you were and then some.
That's how Felipe's made you. It's not how the good Lord made you.
Is that how Felipe's made me? I don't know.
Actually, if you want to look at it from that way, nature, God, whatever, God designed or nature designed your body to be a certain weight.
Right.
We overeat and get that weight up. Your brain gets used to that weight.
Sure.
So when you lose weight, it wants to go back. Now, the brilliance of these machines is when you're doing intense exercise. This is called high intensity resistance training. When you're doing high intensity resistance training, your body upregulates your metabolism, so you burn more calories. You lose weight, fat, not muscle. Most diets you lose about half and half fat, half muscle. Very easy to take off 10 pounds. But what comes back is about a quarter pound of muscle, and the rest is all fat. Then another 1 or 2 on top of that.
Gotcha.
But by doing high intensity exercise, you change the way your muscles are functioning. It's called remodeling. They basically change during this process. They don't change when you're doing 3 sets of 10. That's why you see guys in a gym for 5 years doing their 3 sets of 10. They might look a little better after 5 years, but they could have looked a little better after 3 months if they did intense short exercise.
It's hard to, when you're in a caloric deficit, it's hard to build muscle. I found I was in a caloric deficit, and I found, not just maintaining, but building muscle going to LeoFit was totally possible.
You can build muscle. That's rare, but you can certainly maintain your muscle. I don't want to use me as an example because I'm bragging or anything, but I've been on a very strict keto type diet, which I recommend if someone wants to talk about it. But I've been about 35 days on a keto diet. My weight dropped dramatically. Then it started coming back. And if you saw that, you'd think I'm failing. But if you look at my body fat percentage, it's down like 3%.
It goes from fat to
right. So
don't you have like don't you have like a gadget?
Right. We have a thing called a Cosmed Bod Pod, which is a medical grade instrument. Cosmed is the brand.
Okay.
Bod Pod is the model.
Bod Pod.
And it's a machine. It's a device that you get into. So we seal it, and it tells you your body composition. If you've ever seen people dunking in a pool or heard of the hydrostatic, that's giving you a body composition. Ours is a dry method. It's equal in efficacy. It's the same thing, except it uses air pressure instead of water.
And it'll give you your BMI.
It'll give you your BMI is something else.
Oh,
it'll give you your percentage of body fat versus muscle and bone.
Right. Gotcha.
Lean tissue versus
that's even more specific.
Body fat.
Well, and you mentioned off air when I mentioned about a diet, you say, "Oh yeah, we give you the diet," but most people don't stick with it.
They don't. But so a person has to have the right mental attitude with diet. But even if you eat a bad diet, if you're doing high intensity exercise, you will slowly become more fit.
I was going to say you'll at least be stronger.
And you'll probably lose a little bit of weight because your metabolism is increasing.
You have to quit drinking beer?
No.
But
vodka's probably better.
I was good when I was losing a bunch of weight. I kind of plateaued here. My back actually flared up in January, unrelated to LeoFit. But I was good about 80% of the time. I figured, you know what? If you can be good about 80% of the time,
you're just mad because Denny's quit doing spaghetti.
That was the 20%. Denny's spaghetti 20%. Was 20%.
Leo, you ever go to Denny's and eat their spaghetti?
Not for decades.
Not ever.
It was delicious.
Not for decades.
It was delicious.
But it is delicious.
That's two.
Thank you.
That I know.
But it's really amazing. I really enjoy it. You get a great. It's located in.
It's in the same building as our jewelry store on San Diego Avenue, which is right across from the airport.
Close to
Isn't that in Old Town?
Yeah, just south of Old Town. Yeah.
So how often if somebody wants to do this, you need to call ahead of time because I'm sure you have tons of people coming in.
They do need to call and make an appointment because we only have limited slots
to
start new people. But your first visit will be probably 40 minutes to get you tuned in, educated on the machines, walk you through it, do an exercise. Most people feel stronger after the first one.
Do you go in spandex?
You have to sign up to find out. That's one of the benefits of being a LeoFit.
You could put
customer.
him on the wall. That would be a real motivator.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.